Hi, I'm Mar, and I'm here with StreetSmart Guide talking to Ron English at the very well-known Bowery or House and Bowery wall. Ron, thank you for being available for your latest piece. You want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, this is the temper tot, and originally this was a painting that we had a pop-up show down on West Broadway, and Tony Goldman liked that painting with the multiway or the temper tot in front of the flag, and he wanted me to paint it down at his property in Miami. But the problem is the flag background's like collage, so I knew that this was going to be in a situation where they would want it there for multiple years. So the collage stuff only lasts a few months. So down there I did something different, but then I felt like I still wanted the chance to give him what he originally wanted. So this is kind of it on his wall in New York City.
I know you do a lot with culture jamming,
Right.
you do a lot with subjective artivism and things like that. What really inspired you to put this piece together?
Well, it's supposed to be like a little boy, and he's very angry, and he's getting big, and he's kind of bigger than he's probably maturity level. And it's also, he just lives in this world where people are just kind of barking at him constantly with all these ideas and advertisements and buy this and do that and think this, no think that. And it's just kind of about how confusing it is to live in this country right now with just so many voices coming at you and everything's so loud and obnoxious, and it's about advertising, I guess.
Well, I know the temper tot is down on the Mulberry Street
Yeah.
as well, so you've been had this in your
Well,
mind.
the temper tot on Mulberry, I painted that the day before the hurricane. So I was actually supposed to paint that whole week, and they said, well, the hurricanes come tomorrow, but it'd probably be okay to paint in the hurricane. And I was thinking, you know what? It probably wouldn't be okay to be on a scaffold in a hurricane. So I said, I'll just give you one day, and I painted in one day and then hauled ass, and then the hurricane hit the next day. So anyway, so I painted that in one day. But like it's just, I just kept the cans going all day.
Well, I know that image has drawn a lot of people down to that area, and it really helped a lot with the people being able to come to
Right.
it. So your work really
Yeah, I mean,
does attract-
Lily is hugely, famous, and you sort of start to take that for granted. And I think less and less people were going there. And I think bringing all the street artists down there is bringing people back to Little Italy. So I think they're pretty excited about that.
You've been a public artist, a street artist for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the 70s or yeah.
And, what made you want to get into it in the first place?
I had some art, and there were some people, and it just seemed like the shortest route between me and them. Never mind, it was illegal. That was just a sidebar.
Well, I know that I've seen some of the names that you've worked with in conjunction with, or have had alongside you along the way. You've also done some very well-known walls in Berlin and Israel.
Right.
You want to tell me a little bit about that experience, not just doing it locally, but internationally?
Oh, the wall in Berlin, God, I did that like 86 or 7, I can't remember. It's a long time ago. And they would have artists come and paint the wall. I think the artist before me was Keith Haring. And then they give you paints and you paint the wall. But the wall is actually in East Germany, so if they're able to catch you, then you're disappeared into East Germany. And they showed us a film just before I started painting. And they showed a guy, and he was like banging on the wall, and they grabbed him. They're like, that was 20 years ago. We never heard it, seen it from it since. So it's like, that is not our wall. That's 30 feet inside their territory. If they catch you, there's not anything we can do about it. But have fun. So.
What about the wall for Israel? I heard you did that with Swoon and Banksy at the time.
Yeah, Banksy, Swoon, Fail, JR, little crew. But that was Banksy's idea, and he just thought that everybody, he wanted people to pay attention to the wall, and he figured, well, people come pay attention to street art. Wherever there's street art, people will fly in and go have a look at it. So let's just see if people will go to Palestine and see what's going on there. And I think it's better because, like the U.S. press is not really allowed to report on what's going on there so much. As a matter of fact, when we were there painting, there was NBC and CNN, and they were just like, I don't know why they sent us here, because we're not allowed to air anything that goes on here. And I guess it was in case maybe we got shot or something, but for the most part, they're not allowed to talk about it. So I think it's good for people to go there and see what's really going on, and not, listen to what Fox News tells you is going on there, because they're lying.
Well, I know a lot of people are traveling internationally to come here to see art, and this is the first experience that they get with it. And so, you know, they're able to see people like yourself, Barry, and like some people who've done really, really well, and also the people who are just starting out beginning because of people like you. What do you have to maybe speak about what people who are coming to you with, or others work, other people?
Other people? Well, you know, I think that it's the greatest time in the history of the world for artists because you don't need anybody between you and your audience anymore, you know, and it's very easy to get walls, and it's very easy to get out in front of people, and it's very easy to put your stuff on Instagram and have a lot of people see it. And now I think it's more about is it good or is it not, or is it interesting, or is it making some kind of a statement. It's not about who you know anymore, it's about where you put it up and what you have to say, which is kind of what we always wanted it to be.
And you have a lot of statement in regards to political or consumerism, things of that nature within your work.
Well, I always felt like, you know, with advertising, you know, they spend billions of dollars on advertising, and they kind of just encompass the whole landscape with ads, but there's no other voice. There's no person to say the other side of the story. So I kind of took it upon myself to be that person, although I'm just one guy against billions of dollars. But, you know, I always thought of like the fly in the ointment where, you know, if you get a bowl of soup and then a fly lands in it, and then, you know, you call the waiter over and there's a fly in the soup, and he goes, oh, okay, and he takes a spoon and scoops it out and goes, and then you still feel weird about that soup. You know what I mean? It's still not the same soup it was, even though the fly's gone. So, you know, that's all I can be is the fly in the soup. You know, I can't be the soup.
I like the term that you coined, the propaganda, you know, based on propaganda.
Right.
You know, is it because of that kind of thing that you...
Well, I think that the authentic propaganda now is like the corporate propaganda of advertising, and what I do isn't really propaganda because I'm on the other side. So until I win, it's propaganda.
And the wall that you have here, you have a lot of different, you know, a lot of different brands that you're.
The funny part is, like, if you took any of these ads individually, it would be very upsetting to people. But having them all together, it's just like this noise of all these different ideas at the same time, and it kind of, all the ideas kind of tend to debunk each other. It just gives this wash of weird ideas.
I see everything.
But a couple of them I put up in other contexts before big, and it's made the national news, and people give me death threats and freaking out. But if you just blend it in with everything else, then it just becomes white noise, which is sort of like the idea of what this is about.
I know a couple of the well-known ones. There was the Obama that you had with Abraham Lincoln's face.
Right.
I don't know what the other ones you're talking about that you're getting people excited
Well,
about.
when I did the King of the Jews for the King of the Beers in Texas, it made the national news, and 200 Christian radio stations kind of went on and on about it for a couple of weeks, and it was on Keith Olbermann, and it was it created quite a stir. But then if you just blend it in with everything else, it's you realize it's all just white noise, you know.
Are you hoping to take this concept that you've been working with even further to other parts of the world?
This particular concept, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure where you want to go next with it. You're here, you're doing this.
Oh, next week I go to Bangkok and do something completely different.
From the arena of just being a pure artist, you do have a skill background. You were doing a lot in reproduction work before, and fine art.
Yeah, I went to graduate school for art. I have a graduate degree. I'm trained. And I did a little bit of those production style paintings and some ghost painting in the 80s that helped me kind of get my chops up. So I can paint in a lot of different styles. So pretty efficient at that. So.
Is there a preference that you have between doing fine art or street art?
I like both because, you know, you get bored being in your studio, then you can always go out and do stuff, and then if you get exhausted from doing stuff, you can always go back to your quiet studio. But they're a very different experience because there's nobody in your studio. So it's a very solitary experience, and being on the streets is a lot of fun for me. I'm a people person, so.
Well, people love your work. When we get to see going around the areas, and you go to Mulberry, they were always talking about when do we get to the green temper tot, the baby Hulk.
Little kids like temper tot a lot, yeah.
Is there anything that you could say? Oh yeah, you do toys as well.
Yeah.
Stuff with vinyl toys.
I do limited edition vinyl toys and some resin toys. So that's a whole nother culture. Like the street art culture is one culture, and I know like most of the people in it, and we all know each other, and the toys is like a whole different thing, and it's a whole different world, and it's all different people, it's different sets of people, and
You feel you can reach kids or?
well, it's a different culture, but it's also a different medium, and sometimes I think what's the best medium to do something in, that will be the best vehicle for the message. So, like when you were a kid, you bought the cereal because it had the prize inside. So then when I made the fat cereal characters, I made them into toys because it seemed like better than making a billboard. Because you don't really see like stuff about cereal on billboards. You see it, you want the prize. So it's a good, it's like the medium is a massage kind of thing.
Very true. Is there any one thing that you would want to leave to the viewers and to the art world about yourself or about coming out and looking at street art?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that whatever happened and that it got rebranded as street art and it's become acceptable. And like most of these kids that do it now have never done anything illegal in their lives, which is. I thought it never should have been illegal. I don't think those people were ever criminals. They were, artists, and they were just, there was something wrong with the society that didn't have a place for artists or didn't want art. Right. But there was nothing wrong with them. So, but now society, there's been a big turnaround, and people are into art again, and it's magical.
Thank you for adding some of that magic to the streets. I know a lot of people will appreciate this one. So thank you. And again, it's on the Keith Haring wall as well.
Well, the Keith Haring wall is actually behind us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's my little sign. Part of his painting's still on the side.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he had a lot of good stuff. He was a great guy.
He did indeed.
Yeah. I'm the same age as him, so I've been doing it just as long.
Thank you again.
Yeah, that was another bad thing that happened is the wind got sucked out of that period of art because all the great people died. So me and Kenny and a couple other people now.
Sharp. Richard Hamilton's still around?
Yeah. He's not doing too well.
Fetzer. So.
Yeah. Anyway.